And I am back with another OBE. So, this one was, in comparison to my previous ones, in my opinion, was a little less exciting, but this is a journal. So, I am just going to just tell you about it. I'm not sure even what I was seeing, but all of my experiences, I want to take them seriously, and I don't know. Maybe somebody may be able to even give me some insight into what it was I was looking at. But this particular time, I believe I was taken to a place where there were teens and young children, maybe ages 10 to 15, 16 years old. It was a bunch of them, just some of them were behind bars, or at least what looked to me like bars. So I'll start off first with my out of body experience. So this OBE started off like the last two that I had. Um, I pretty much rolled out of the body, kind of felt that I was pretty much on the floor, and then I got up. Excuse me. And I walked out of my house. Once again, I did not see my dog this time. As a matter of fact, my nobody was there. It was just me. I was not entertained or engaging with any entities, at least at that point, or at least any foreign entities. It was just me in my apartment, and then I went and walked out of the house. This time again, I saw the same buildings, the same courtyard, the same vibrant green colors, all of that. But I decided to go out of the courtyard this time, which I did. I noticed that there was a gate surrounding the apartment complex, and I also noticed that there were these other souls just kind of walking around, and then there were these two black young ladies, um, and I decided to speak to them. So I spoke. I don't even recall whether it was telepathy or whether I was actually speaking. I believe it may have been telepathic, although I do recall seeing their mouths move to some degree. One of the young ladies had a some weird name, and she just simply told me to call her Denise. And the other one, I can't even remember her name, to be honest. But it seemed as if they were trying to get to some place, and they were confused to some degree. So, I just decided I was going to fly. I flew up, and on top of this, top of the gate. And I said, well, if y'all, I was thinking to myself, well, if they're planning on going somewhere, they're going to need to get beyond the gate. So I helped them up. Um, and I introduced myself, and that was basically it. The lady that called herself Denise seemed like she had a little bit more insight into what was going on. However, something was telling me that they didn't realize that they were either out of their body or just or possibly dead, because they did look a bit on the confused side. I did not want to tell them what was going on because, to be honest, I had a feeling that they were dead, but I don't know for certain. So I didn't want to say anything if they were dead. And so from that point, I was pulled back into my body for whatever reason. Because it was still late at night, I decided to try to, if I could see if I could slip back into the out of body state, which it didn't take, but maybe it only took maybe a few minutes to get right back into the out of body state. So it was almost like a whoosh, and then I ended up coming right back out, but I was in the parking lot, a parking lot at that point. This parking lot had an apartment complex to the left, and I don't recall what was to the right, but it was an apartment complex to the left. I didn't see any cars and all of that. But it looked like a parking lot. And so at that point, I'm thinking to myself, well, oh, I'm back out of the body. Maybe I can go see something. Now, I did not have this out of body experience. I did not put any intention into it. I just wanted to come out of the body, which I did. But then when I was like, okay, well, maybe I can go see my neighbor. That took me somewhere. I don't know whether I was pulled or what, but I know I remember Robert Monroe saying something to the effect of, when you want to see somebody, it's better to think of the face of that person. Think of that person, and then you can go there, not the place. Don't think of the person, but not the place. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to think of the person. Thought about next door neighbor. And sure enough, I was directed into the direction, I was pointed in the direction of where that my next door neighbor, or what I thought was my next door neighbor, was at the time. The strange thing about this was the fact that I began to fly in that direction. However, I was pointed oppositely. So if my next door neighbor was in back there, I was pointed straight ahead, and then I began to fly backwards. Usually, when I'm flying, or at least when I know that I'm flying, I'm facing the direction that I'm going. But when I'm not necessarily in control of the flight, I believe I'm being helped. And so in this case, I do believe anytime I think of somebody that I want to go see, somebody is helping me. Something is helping me. So that entity pulled me. I'm just going to say it was an entity or something. It pulled me backwards. And we didn't quite take off like a rocket, but we were going pretty damn fast. And so I'm flying backwards in the parking lot, and then finally we end up in a hallway. It was open, concrete, same color as those apartments, blue, light blue, very light blue. Now, mind you, it's nighttime too, so it may have been a light gray, whatever. And we slow down, and I stop. At this point, when we stop, I turn around to see where I am. I didn't see any entity or anything like that was helping me. However, I saw a soul that looked very similar to my next door neighbor. And I saw another guy. I don't know who he was. He was a black guy. They're all, they both are black. But then I saw these children and these rooms that were in at least the doorway was in the shape of an arch. There were maybe 3 of those arches, relatively large arches with bars. The entity that looked like my next door neighbor was sitting at some sort of a wooden table, and one of the kids came out of the barred room, and he was just standing, kind of looking. I don't know what they were talking about, but they had some sort of a conversation. And the other male was just standing at the end of the hallway, almost like he was part of the ringleader of whatever was going on. And for whatever reason, it felt weird. Like, what is going on here? And so I'm just looking around like, what's going on? Now to the right, there was another room that was open. It was an open door, open doorway. Did not see a door, but it was an open doorway, and I saw a black lady. And she was just in a room with several other kids, just ages, I would say anywhere from 8 to maybe, I don't know, 14, 15. They were all like sleeping on the floor. Some of them were kind of laying on top of each other, just, making it was just not, all kinds of weird, and kind of sad. I didn't feel any kind of way per se, at least at that point. But when I did see another body on the floor, and that body was not moving at all. And I hate to be gruesome and grim, but it was just, it was like that person or kid or whoever he was ill, very skinny, very gaunt, and just kind of like, the conditions were poor. The conditions were beyond poor. It was just not sanitary. And as a matter of fact, I tried to touch the black guy because he looked like he was doing just fine and did not miss a meal. But of course, nobody could see me. I was just kind of just like, what's going on? And I don't know what that's all about. And then not too long after I see all of this, I go back into my body. So I don't know. I'm at a loss as to why I don't know. Maybe I was in a dream world of his, or I don't even, y'all, some of the stuff that I'm seeing, it's like a mixture between dream slash fantasy entity land and like real people, souls that are like real people. This was real people. So I plan to ask I guess my guide or somebody I need to figure out what that was all about. Because I don't want to think the worst, but I mean, God damn it, it looked pretty bad. Well, that's it. I wasn't afraid or anything, but it was just, I don't really want to see, or maybe I'm showing this, just maybe I'm supposed to help. I don't know. But we'll find out soon enough. With that, so sorry that this OBE is probably not to everyone's liking or taste, but that's what I saw. And I just figured I would share this. It is a part of the journey, and I'm pretty sure there may be a reason why I saw all of this. So until next time, I guess we'll talk. I'll see you later.